or cleared by the relevant authorities. In response to this outcry, the URA is undergoing system changes under a program codenamed the Managing Compliance Program to improve the quality of service, especially the handling of cargo. They are introducing an electronic cargo tracking system to facilitate trade and the Customs Business Process Enhancement Project. The $5.2 million electronic cargo tracking system is also said to be helpful in curbing the inflow of low-priced goods disguised as genuine. According to the URA, some goods come into the country and declared as goods intended for another country, thereby avoiding import tax, only for these goods to be sold on the Ugandan market, leading to an unfair competition due to their low pricing. The system is also expected to increase efficiency of the URA in the clearing of goods on time, while increasing revenue collection for this government. So tonight we look at this latest innovation at the tax body to understand how it's likely to impact on the business community in Uganda. Our guests, Mr. Asadu Kigozi, Manager Transit Monitoring Unit at the URA. You're most welcome, Mr. Kigozi.
Thank you, Edmond.
We're also joined by Mr. Dustan Luwaga, Customs Officer at the same URA. You're most welcome, Mr. Luwaga.
Thank you so much, Edmond.
Asadu, what is this electronic cargo tracking system?
Good evening, listeners of Spectrum. Electronic cargo tracking system is a system where we are monitoring cargo under customs control from one destination to another. What do I mean? Uganda Revenue Authority is mandated to collect revenue on goods coming into the country, and these goods pay taxes from different areas of the country depending on where the clients want their goods to be paid. For example, you may choose to pay your goods from the border like Malaba, or choose to come inland in Akawa or in a bond in any part of the country. So these goods, before they have paid taxes, we secure them so that they reach the destination where they are going to pay taxes. And this system, using electronic gadgets which communicate to us in real time, is the system which we want to introduce to improve the movement of cargo from one customs area to another. Likewise, goods going through the country to other neighboring countries supervised or managed by Uganda Revenue Authority, and we want them to securely move up to the destination of their countries.
Exactly how does it work?
This system is a GPS-based system.
Global positioning system.
Yes. We also use satellite technology. We have an e-seal which will be used on dry cargo. When I say dry cargo, goods which are the general goods we use in the day-to-day life. So that e-seal,
like what? Sugar?
Like sugar, clothes, shoes. That we call general goods, the dry cargo. And also we have categories of wet cargo where we have fuel, that is argo, PMS, that's petrol, diesel and kerosene. That's what we refer as to wet cargo. So we are going to be using an e-seal on this dry cargo and also on the wet cargo by securing the containers in which this cargo comes in. We shall be having a central monitoring center where we shall be coordinating the movement of these goods attached to the e-seal. Likewise, new motor vehicles coming into the country will have a gadget called the e-tracker, which we shall fix in the vehicle as it moves, and we shall be able to communicate with the system which is embedded in these gadgets to give us the exact position and movement of this cargo into the country.
But that's going to be expensive. I mean, if a man has been putting one small car price pass you impose this thing on them, you're going to charge them a lot of money in the end.
We are not charging you for this service. What you have to remember that Uganda Revenue Authority is financed by the government of Uganda, and the government of Uganda is you, the taxpayers. So we are using the taxpayers' money to secure these goods so that we can be able to collect more from the goods which are coming into the country by plugging the loopholes which have been in the system which we are using now.
So how big is this unit, is it the size of a man's fist or what does it look like?
Yes, you would say that it is like a palm. The e-seal is like the size of a palm of your hand.
Yes.
But it has a lot of information embedded in the chips which have been installed in it.
Right.
Then the e-track for the units is a small gadget like you'd put a charger in the cigarette lighter of the vehicle.
I'm looking at one right now. So you push this into your cigarette lighter. You attach. This one looks like a battery. It weighs around about 300 grams. It's the size of 2 mobile phones, really, and it's portable. And you say this is not you insert this in every truck that is coming in.
No, not every truck which is coming in. What we have resolved to do is to introduce the system in phases by highlighting some items that will be covered in the initial stages.
Yes.
But as the system picks on and as the need increases, we shall be rolling out in phases so that we can be able to cover all the consignments that need to be covered. For now, we are going to be selecting items to be covered under the system.
So Dustan, talk to us about when did you see people begin to think of doing this?
Thank you so much. Thank you, listeners. This project has been on way back since 2007. We've done a lot of research. We've done a number of benchmarks. We've studied the pains for our stakeholders, and until last year, when we finally started the pilot in October last year. Of course, the launch is this very month, next week on Friday.
So when you heard CHOGM was coming in 2007, you say you need this?
Well, it was not basically because of CHOGM. We had a number of challenges. We had a number of outcries there. We had a number of challenges, and some of which are actually very costly, which we wouldn't want to see going forward as the country develops. And you say population develops, the country develops, we construct the roads. So we must try to get rid of any pain that our stakeholders highlight to us. It's in our interest that we simplify ways of conducting business by eliminating the unnecessary costs. So we've always kept the stakeholders in engagement with us, and of course when we come up with this solution, we think it's going to help us a great deal.
So you're launching it in May?
Yeah.
But you've been working with it already. So what does it mean to launch it in May?
You see, probably say, what does it mean to pilot? When we pilot, we have a number of things. The developed world has many of these solutions that help them to do a lot of things in business, tracking vehicles, trying to get off unnecessary malpractices in systems and government institutions. Now, what we did in the pilot, we've brought a number of stakeholders on board. We already have a number of companies we brought on board, and we have to share the system with our stakeholders. What do I mean in this? The system helps us to know the trend and look at Google Maps and information on the system 24/7. Right now, as we speak here, there are guys in the Central Monitoring Center in URA. They are right on the system throughout the night, throughout the day, and the gadgets are communicating to them. Where the drivers stop in unnecessary areas where we don't want them to stop, of course, the system says this guy is overstopping in this area. So we get in touch and we respond. We have a rapid response teams on the roads. They respond immediately. We have the phone contacts. We liaise with the drivers and even their bosses. So when we bring our stakeholders during the pilot on board, they are piloting with us. They are in the know. Just imagine someone getting an SMS on a small phone, a simple phone like a Katochi phone, you understand?
Yes.
Yes, getting an SMS and is saying your truck number this, carrying goods ABCD, in container this, has over delayed at Idudi or at Uganda town. So you are in the know. Whether you're in your bedroom, you're sleeping, whether you're in your party, enjoying yourself over the weekend, whether you're on a funeral, you know, whether you're taking your beer in the evening in the bar, you are always in the know. Yes, or coffee. So this is what we are saying. We are engaging stakeholders, and during the pilot, these are the things we're doing. And second, we are customizing and localizing the solution. You know, the developed countries might give us a solution, but we must localize it to suit our indigenous challenges here.
What do you mean localizing?
localizing, say you input, you must capture the roads. We do geomapping. We've geomapped, that is electronic capturing of all the gazetted official transit roads, so that when a truck moves off the road, instantly there and then the gadget informs us, truck number this is going off the official road, is taking this direction, is moving at this speed. That is localizing. Now the system should be able, if it came from Malaysia, if it came from USA, it should now understand the roads, the local language here. If you have a village called, exactly, all those must be captured in the system, and that is localization.
Google did that already for you. You can read all these maps.
Yes, Google has that, but Google cannot tell you that in the laws of Uganda or in the laws of East Africa, this is now the official route. It will just show you the roads. But now we're saying the official roads. We have challenges. You find a road is under construction. You find a lot of traffic jam. You find accidents. And the drivers have to try and maneuver and find shortcuts and move their way. So all these, the system still will tell you at this point, this guy is moving off the road. Then you try to find out, why is it that you're moving off the road? The guy will tell you, probably there's an accident here, there's a lot of traffic jam, there's a small mechanical problem I want to solve, something like that.
So if a driver has a second wife, people are spying on them, you send a message to the original wife. Anyhow, Asadu, talk to us about this system. How did you do this work before?
Thank you, Edmond. We have been using the manual system as well as the electronic system, but in terms of the documentation. As you are aware, customs clearances are handled under the Asadu world system. That is where electronically documents are declared to customs and handled and processed through the system. So we have been using the manual seal, which we would put on the containers to attach and show that these goods are under customs control.
A manual seal?
A manual
like
seal.
A padlock?
It is like a wire.
Well, it's a seal, but
yes.
for another person,
yes.
like a padlock,
yes.
which only you can open.
Yes, yeah. That's right, Edmond. So this one would not communicate to us. You seal it in or you seal it on the truck in Malaba, and the only feedback you will get is when it reaches Nakawa. If it doesn't reach, you will not know. So that's the system we have been using, and drivers have been given what we call drivers copies, the documents of the cargo they are carrying. They move with the copies. However, the electronic bit of it in the system is that the system originating the cargo will, as soon as the transaction is recorded in the system, the destination point is also aware of what is coming. So we keep in touch with the originating station as well as waiting for the driver to arrive and know that this cargo has made its way up to the destination. But also, in some instances, we have been using physical escorts where we would put soldiers, policemen
with AK-47.
Yes, even customs officers physically escorting this cargo from one point to another. So that's how we have been managing.
It is expensive. You have to buy them lunch.
That is very true, and that's why this new system is coming to eradicate some of those additional costs of doing business. The importer has been footing the bill for escorting this cargo. So all those unnecessary costs, this system is intended to remove them so that we can facilitate international trade and reduce turnaround time.
Well, listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio, and tonight URA is planning to introduce an electronic cargo tracking system. How will this impact on transactions with URA and the clearing of goods? Our guests, Mr. Asadu Kigozi, Manager, Transit Monitoring Unit at the URA, and Mr. Dustan Luwaga, Customs Officer at the URA. As well, you will be able to call him later and talk to them direct. Dustan, you say this thing is free. You don't need to pay money to get it. Do you have enough of them?
Oh yes, we have a very good number for these. Like my colleague Asadu said, we shall basically concentrate on the high risk goods. Like he mentioned, people have had to incur a number of costs, but we've made sure that we actually secure a very good number based on the volumes we have in the country. And if need arises, when the country develops and there's need for more, definitely we're going to order for more.
How much does a unit cost? You're spending $5.2 million for all of this.
Yes, it's a total solution. if you know what we mean by Cisco blade robust servers.
Yes. That is from Cisco, the technology.
Exactly. They are very small and very fast in communicating and interfacing with other systems. They are very latest on the market. So that's why the system had to be fairly expensive. And all these seals were embedded in the total cost. It's not that we are breaking down, say, this seal or this e-track will cost us so much. It was a total solution for all these things.
So the technology paid.
Yes.
You say you're specializing in high-risk goods. What does that mean? What are the low-risk goods?
Low-risk goods look at fertilizers, look at...
People don't smuggle fertilizer?
Not really. Look at medicines, look at glasses, spectacles, look at those things that don't attract a lot of tax. Look at ball pens, look at paper, stationery, look at, some few...
But people have been counterfeiting counter books. They've been smuggling...
Yes, now that is a different scenario. That's where we work with the Uganda National Bureau of Standards at all our entry points, at all our verification points, because they are the people mandated to ensure that actually counterfeits are eliminated or minimized. But for the side of URA, basically we're looking at the high risk, like you mentioned, spirits, sugar, cigarettes, fuel, rice, high value, things like those.
All right. Talk to us a little bit more about this pilot, the experiences, some of the things you noticed, and the loopholes that you could have seen.
Oh, the feedback from our stakeholders is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. We actually it's more exciting to the extent that even villagers look at some of these gadgets and say, "Is this a new phone? What type of thing is this?"
You give them to villagers as well?
No, when they find the trucks, when the trucks move around, that's what they try to probably snatch them. But the stakeholders are saying, "This is great. We've never had a situation where I don't need to struggle spending my airtime calling the driver. He's probably fooling you every other day, saying I have a traffic case here, saying my truck has broken down, send me mobile money for 400,000, and then all sorts of stories. Even when he's parked on Ginger Road here, he will tell you I'm still in Uganda, and you can't verify. You just have to rely on his information as gospel truth.
They used to do that.
Yes.
When he's in Nakao, he says I'm stuck in.
Of course, they have done so many of these things. Yes, and both our traders, the transporters, are all victims of these situations. So now they're saying, I don't even need to make a phone call. I'm just informed. The guys we already brought on board, we've interfaced with and given rights to access the system. They just get the messages in their homes. They don't even have to look for computers to access.
So you text them as a routine?
Yes, it is already configured in the system that if you have, say, your import as Capital Radio or Radio 1 or Greenland group of our Radio Uganda, name it, any client, as long as that is captured in our Askuda system, automatically, because systems are interfaced. The Askuda system we use for collecting the direct revenue, and then the cargo tracking system. Yes. So automatically the system will pick that information, and the phone numbers you gave us, it will automatically send, as long as we fix this gadget and activate it at the point of start of journey, it will send you the message that your consignment track number this, container number this, the goods are this, has been armed with an electronic cargo tracking system. On the way, whatever happens, whether diversion from the route, even at the end of the journey, the system will still send you messages and say, at this point your driver is diverting from route. If you have access to Google Map, we shall show you how to log in. You just log in and see the guy actually diverting, or he's overparking someplace.
You will see the man where he's going.
Yes, and at the final point of destination, you still see, you get the message and say, finally your goods have reached the point of destination, whether in the bonded warehouses, whether in the ICE internal container depots, or at the exit points.
So, Asadu, talk to us about the time it takes from the border, from the coast. Let's talk about Mombasa for it. How long does it take for a truck to move to Kampala these days?
On average, a truck would take 7 days, but now, as you are aware, that we have new systems, new procedures we have adopted after the heads of state of the region agreed to clear cargo under a single customs territory. With this new initiative, we have now consignments reaching Uganda from Mombasa within 3 days.
3 days?
Yes.
From Mombasa?
Yes.
After President Kenyatta spoke?
Yes.
Things began to happen?
Yes. So for different types of cargo is handled differently, and the time may vary from 3 days to 1 week to have the cargo here.
Maximum is 7 days?
Generally is 7 days. Within 7 days you should have your cargo, but some take less than that, or for one reason or another they may delay, but because of technical, maybe mechanical breakdown or such issues. Yes.
What was the experience? How much time did they take? 21 days or what?
Yes, it used to take more. It used to take that long. 3 weeks you're on the road. There is a way bridge. There are so many traffic stops, security stops. But after removing all these reducing all these non-tariff barriers, a lot on the northern corridor route has improved, and we are on a day-to-day basis we are recording successes in improving the turnaround time. We have had trucks making now more journeys to the border or to the coast to pick more cargo than before.
So you remove way bridges?
No, the way bridges are not yet removed, but
physically they are there, but you don't need them.
They are. We are trying. The Ministry of Works is streamlining so that we have fewer checks. We used to have so many way bridges which would delay transit cargo to reach its destination, but now you have one in the country of origin, another one in the first country of entry, and if you are like from Kenya to Uganda, that means you can only experience two-way bridges, which wasn't the case before, and that reduces turnaround time considerably.
So what happens with other countries? Someone brings in goods and they're taking them to the DRC.
Yes, that is what we call transit through cargo, facilitating international trade for our neighbors who are land-linked like Uganda to have their cargo. So this kind of cargo still, when it enters Uganda, it is weighed once, goes through the system with customs, and it will be covered still with this system for those goods which will deem fit to have this system covering them. They will be facilitated to go to their exit, depending on which country they are going to.
So for you, plug it on when they arrive at the border?
Yes, we deactivate.
You do plug it on at Mombasa? Where do you attach it?
At the moment, we are attaching the seal from our entry points. No, Malaba, Busia, Mutukula, Katuna, Elegu on the South Sudan border. So that's where we attach this gadget. And when it reaches the inland port, like the bond in Kampala, we deactivate, and it is reusable. We put it on another container, maybe taking exports to Kenya or Rwanda. And when it reaches the border point, let's say Katuna to Kigali,
you remove your
we
stuff.
Deactivate and use it for another truck.
If they don't have it, that's their problem. It doesn't concern you.
Yeah.
How do the other countries have the same system?
The initiative is to have the whole region have the electronic cargo tracking system,
right.
Whereas the vendors may be different, but that's where we are going, where we should be having all goods covered so that we reduce cost of doing business.
Let's take a break. This is Spectrum Radio and we'll be back.
Experience the thrill and unforgettable memory of gorilla tracking. Uganda Wildlife Authority is happy to offer you up to 40% discounts on gorilla tracking permits. Offer valid till 31st May. Enjoy the rare wildlife experience of tracking the world's few remaining mountain gorillas in Bwindi Impenetrable Forest and Mgahinga National Parks. You can also enjoy many other activities like nature walks, hiking, birding, golden monkey tracking, culture and community experiences with the Batwa, and a lot more. Don't miss this opportunity.
Uganda Wildlife Authority, conserving for generations.
Millions of Ugandans use MTN mobile money to pay for important things in life. So, get to pay it, save it, send it. Get to pay it, save it, send. Boy meets girl, takes it to the movies. Soon is the wedding day, and a baby on the way. Get your baby pretty clothes. Get to food so she can grow. Pay it, buy the uniform online. Save it, pay school fees on time. Pay your rent. Pay it, buy insurance cover. Send it, pay power and water. Pay it, save for your daughter. Save it, get to pay it, save it, send it. Get to pay it, save it, send it. Get to pay it, save it, send it. Get to pay it, save it, send it.
Dial *165# and join the new world of better money. MTN. Everywhere you go.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
On Spectrum tonight, URA is planning to introduce an electronic cargo tracking system. How will this impact on transactions within URA and the clearing of goods? Our guests, Mr. Asadu Kigozi, Manager Transit Monitoring Unit at the URA. Mr. Dustan Luwaga, Customs Officer, also at the URA. You will be able to call in shortly and talk to them direct. Talk to us, Dustan, about this system. What have the people responded? How they responded? The importers, what do they say when you talk to them about this system? Those who have used it at least.
Edmond, allow me to give you a few figures, because it's actually been a pain to our stakeholders. Just imagine you have your consignment of sugar and it's going, just leaving Kampala, going to Oraba, going to Sudan. For instance, we say this is high risk. We are going to give you a physical escort. And they say, fine, you give me one. And they say, yeah, but you have to pay for him. You know? And they say, how much? And they say, probably 150,000. You know? You pay for this guy. Yes, for just that trip. Whether it's going to take 3 days, standardized, 150,000. And then they say, okay, here's the money. They say, oh, sorry, we have a few policemen or a few soldiers, so we cannot get you one now. You might have to stay overnight and go tomorrow. That's already pain. You've loaded your goods on a truck. You know, the truck owner is charging you. If you stay one night, the bond owner is charging you. The truck owner might charge you about $400. The bond owner where you're parking your goods might charge you about $200.
Overnight?
Yes, overnight. Now you're going the next day, but still you have to pay the other 150,000. Now assume you only had 2 transactions in a week. Just 2. And there are 48 weeks in a year. But there are people who have transactions about 4 in a week. You get the point? So I'm just giving you an average. Now just get the 150,000 times 2 times 48. That is 14.4 million in a year.
You're saving this month 14 million.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Just on the physical escort. Now, if you have the parking, $200, multiply that by 2 in a week, times 48 weeks in a year, that is $19,200. Just for the parking, the delay. If it happened twice, remember, if you paid the truck owner $400 because of staying overnight, just one night, and we did it, say on a Monday and a Friday, that is $38,400 in a year. Add up these two. 14.4 million is an equivalent of about $5,625 US at an exchange rate of say 2,560.
Yes.
Add up 5,625 plus the parking charges of 19,200 plus 38,400 for the truck. You know, that gives about $63,000 US, 225. That's a lot of money. Just imagine a trader parting with this money just because of dealing in risky goods, you know, and he has to incur another. You can convert that into Uganda shillings and see. This is a big pain.
You should charge them some money, you people. Don't you want to make some money?
Yes, but we want the demands to come from them. It is only when probably the demand will be beyond our control. But for now, we are saying no. We want everyone to get excited. We want them to see the benefits. Take a minute and think about those who have not been dealing in these expensive goods, but they have been going through stories by the drivers and pulling money out of their pockets and out of the businesses every other day. Actually, our management is thinking of reducing even the 7 days, you know, transit time to just 2 days or 3. You know,
physically driving from
yes, because previously the main reason was because the roads were bad. Now move up to the borders
of road. I've driven along that road right up to Busia and beyond.
Look, even move the side. Going to Congo, going to Rwanda, all those roads are done. One of the worst roads we have towards the border is just the one to Elegu.
Well, but I've not done the Ntungamo section. I've driven that longer.
Yes, but at least you see they're working. They're working on that. But I'm talking about the extreme borders that used to be a real pain. Go towards Fort Poto, go to Ntoroko, towards the like. We've really tried to work. Bundi Bujo, Fort Poto down there. We've really tried to do a good job. So there's no reason why the taxpayer, the trader, the international trader should not have a lot of speed. Now we want to help them to push these drivers to increase on the turnaround time. We need the revenue. But how do we get the revenue? You need the revenue because people must continuously have speed in their transactions.
Well, so that's remarkable. I mean, it sounds like revolutionary, a little bit like the mobile phone. When it came, we began to ask yourself, how did we do it before? Talk to us, Asadu, about this pilot a little bit more. You started with the pilot. Define that for us in more detail.
Thank you, Edmond. In October 2013, that is last year, that's when we rolled out the piloting. Is basically testing the system and the gadgets you are putting for use, whether they are going to work as expected. You want to get feedback from the system, from the stakeholders, from we the users as URA. Is it addressing the pains you set out to address? So the piloting involved about 13 companies which we have piloted with, and so far we have been able to monitor over 600 consignments in that period. Remember I told you we selected a certain number of goods which we are going to be testing on or using the system as we roll out in phases. So these stakeholders have been able to get into the system, be able to see their goods move on the road, giving us feedback of how many days now it is taking them, because when a driver gets a gadget on the consignment, the one who has been reaching Kampala in 4 days, within 24 hours he was in Kampala because the gadget was basically monitoring his action. So that is the piloting. We have been able to get some incidences where the seals have been tampered with, and we have tested the gadgets which are supposed to find the detached seals, for instance. So during the piloting, we have even simulated certain incidences using our own vehicles, because we have a rapid response team with vehicles fitted with the CCTV, internet, and they are able to call and connect with the central monitoring center. So we have even simulated certain instances to see how the system reacts. We have deliberately moved the trucks off the road and see what is the system communicating as expected. That's what we have done. Recently, Dustan was in the north, where the children removed the seal from the truck packed for an overnight. Right. So for them, they took it home and they thought this was they didn't know what it was for. So we used our gadgets to trace this seal, and we found it past almost reaching Pakwach in a hut. So
a long distance away.
Yes.
So it's easy to plug.
Yeah. No, at the start, as I said, we were testing all the magnetic fields which we had on the original seals were not as strong as we wanted. That was, we were able to address that, and that is the purpose of piloting. Is what our gadget have secured to serve me. Is it doing the right thing? And where it is not, you enhance that gadget to have an effective result.
I look at some very interesting photos. These children plugged it off the truck and they went all the way to their hut where they hid it in the house.
Yes, that's true. And we were able to use our gadgets, Google Maps, and we were able to exactly go to the village and to the real hut. When we called out the boy, we said, please, have you seen this? He said, yes, it is in my house. He came out with it, and they were so surprised to see a team coming from Kampala, going to a village they have never been before, and retrieving this.
If you're wearing kanzus, they would say these are witch doctors.
That is true.
What did they say they wanted to do with that? Those children.
Well, the young boy, we asked him, of course, in Acholi, You don't have time, you'd have listened to the videos. I have them here. The guy said he picked it from Gulu primary school kids, you know. I don't know that is true or not. Then they asked him why was he keeping this. He said he wanted one day to go out there and look for someone who can explain to him what this thing can do.
Wow.
So that's why I told you it's a bit exciting. People can pull it off, yes, but for us, we know, of course, this was like a lie. When you ask the driver, he says it fell off. We know it cannot fall off. It told us, the gadget told us exactly where it went off and the location and what the truck was doing. So he had parked in a small town where exactly. So he parked there for some time. These guys got excited and like pulled it off, and we got the alert. We did not get excited. We kept on looking at the truck because he had another one as well. So he went up to the border and actually reported and said the thing went off. We know it didn't fall off, but we could see where it is. So we made sure the truck actually reaches the end point without tampering with the physical goods in the truck. We had to go and recover a seal. We recovered a number of them, both in Barara, in Rushenyi, in Masaka, and so on, when people get excited and pull them off. So we are trying to do a lot of sensitizations, and this is one of them, of course.
So how will you do it? I mean, it's easy to pluck off. What will you
Yeah, it's not that easy. You must have a lot of force to pull it off. If I had fixed it somewhere, you would feel what it means. You get the point. So, of course, we recovered it, and it's because of the excitement that this boy said, I wanted to see what it can do. Of course, probably thought we'd get some money out of it.
Right.
We cautioned them because actually the law, Section 195 of the East Africa Customs Management Act, says that if you tamper with the customs seal, you will be penalized $2,500, or you will be imprisoned for 3 years, or both of these punishments. So what we're doing now, we're trying to do a lot of sensitization, because we don't want to just jump out and then say, you are going to be punished, you're going to pay this money, and so we want people to get sensitized.
Right, and this, I mean, you don't want to take this cable. It's not you're not going to sell it for anyone.
You can't. That cable is not an ordinary cable. It doesn't work. It's not ordinary. You can't get any other cable. It has a special tag to this. It's coded. It has a special tag, in the IT guys can explain a little more of that. But you can't use it anywhere else, and you can't get any other cable and substitute it for this. It will not work.
That's very interesting. So what will happen in this full rollout?
Thank you, Edmond. Our listeners and our clients out there, we are going to roll out this system on the 9th of May 2014, and what is going to happen is that we have been targeting certain companies which we have been piloting with, and it is now going to be open to all companies and all goods. So we shall continue. Now we are going to bring on board more goods in the highlighted bracket to be covered under this system. Currently, we have been only picking on goods for only those companies which are under piloting. But now, when we roll out, every other company, importer, cargo, even some may not be necessarily high risk, but it may be out of demand. The client may now come up and say, I want my cargo to be tracked, and that way that's what it will mean in the rollout, that now it's open to everyone, and as the URA customs sees fit, all goods which will be targeted can be using the system rather than the restricted piloting companies.
And how does it address cargo losses?
Thank you very much. One of the challenges we have been having is the diversion of cargo in transit. That means cargo under customs control. You are supposed to take it to Congo. You are not taking it to DRC.
You take it to
Ndeba, Nalukolong, and offload. Now this system is going to address that, because at any particular time we are going to be aware exactly where you are with the cargo, and if you go to Ndeba and the route which you are supposed to take is not the Ndeba route, we shall be able to intervene in real time and curtail that kind of habit of diverting goods on the market, which affects the genuine traders who are paying taxes to the Ugandan government.
And this seal, what's the quality of it? Can it be counterfeited or not?
No, for now at least not. Why would you counterfeit it? And secondly, where would you use it? Remember, URA has the passwords.
Let's look at a scenario. Someone brings in goods of a certain description. He wants to interchange them before he drives onto the DRC. He has a container waiting for him. And then he removes it from this side, from one truck, puts it on another truck. You'll never notice
the goods.
Well, when you're monitoring, you'll see that the sale is still in the same place.
Well, at the start point, these seals are under the custody of the customs officers to begin with, because even the manual seals that we're using now that are not even communicating a single thing, they are still in the custody and they're fixed by the customs officers and they are recorded on the system. Now this the same way is going to be fitted on the physical goods by the customs officer at that point, and is activated by the customs officer. Every customs officer has a personal password into the system. Even the control integrity of the customs officers. You cannot be deployed, say, in Malaba, and you think because you're a customs officer, you have a password to the system. You come to Kampala and you get into the system and either activate or deactivate. You will not. So in that way...
Well, what do you mean you will not? Some people...
You will not, because all those are security controls, even within ourselves, both integrity-wise and security-wise, both to we, the operators, and the stakeholders. Now, if you think of counterfeiting or getting the substitute, how will it help you? Remember, all these are on our servers. All they have IT serial numbers and security codes on our servers. Now, how will you bring
a password? You just drive from Malaba to this place and change it for you.
Well, what I'm saying, this system, our servers will not allow any other to get into it.
A man will come from the border, come to Kampala, remove the seal, put another truck.
That's not possible. Because
if I may add on that, that is purposely why the system is there. The system, once you touch the seal,
it begins to cry.
It begins to cry. It will send an alert. Someone is trying to tamper with me. If you fully remove it, it is going to say, I've been disconnected. At that very time, remember I've told you we have response teams. You have seen
they'll show up in your door.
Police patrols. They do like the police patrols located in different sections of the country. The URA response teams are going to be working in a similar way. Rapid response units. So we shall be able to intervene in real time.
They'll come with sirens wailing.
Please, that's what we are going to have. So
then you'll be in trouble. You can't run or you can't hide.
That means you'll be on the wrong side of the law.
We'll talk about penalties. What happens when you get someone like that?
The East African
slap on the wrist and he goes.
The East African Customs Management Act is very clear. If you tamper with any goods under customs control, there is a penalty to pay. In terms of fines, or even we may choose to prosecute and you go to court. We go to court and go to prison, or both. So the penalties will be levied on such characters who are on the wrong side of the law.
And if someone says, "Forgive me, I have sinned,"
there are some cases where someone may not be aware, because you evaluate a case. It may be a first offender. The seal was removed by a child or someone passing, or because the road is under construction and there is a lot of movement and it went off. There are some genuine reasons which you evaluate a case by case, and the penalty is consummated to the offense.
From the listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. Our number is 0414 3481111 0312 260 390 0312 261 390. Spectrum, hello. Hello. Yes, you're live on air. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Okay. Spectrum, hello. There seems to be a fault with those lines. They'll be rectified, and in a short while you should be able to call in. So you're saying that it's a very serious offense to tamper with these seals.
Yes, under section 195 under the East African Customs Management. $2,500.
You go to jail for,
or you go to jail for 3 years, or both.
Or both. If they have annoyed you really. So have you had cases of people try to tamper with this? What from the children who plucked it off?
No, at the moment the piloting we have not had deliberate tampering of the seals, but as I told you, because we are in a piloting stage.
Okay, Spectrum, hello.
I'm Martin in Mbare.
Yes, Martin.
We know Uganda is in Africa, and this is a country where systems go. In the event that the system goes off, whether for 1 second or 1 minute, somebody tampers with the field, how can you get the response then?
Come again, can you repeat your question, Martin?
I'm saying we're in Uganda, and Uganda is in Africa, where systems go. In the event that the system goes off, how will the field communicate with the servers in URA?
Okay. Spectrum, hello.
Good evening, Mr. Christo.
Good evening, sir. Your name?
I'm called KM Shadugo Vontinga. And I'm Shaludo gentleman from Uganda Revenue Authority. I wanted to acquire from them, the Uganda Revenue Authority, what the revenue they collect in terms of shillings.
In terms of?
Hello?
Yes, your name?
Yes, I'm Joshua.
Come again?
I'm good, Joshua.
Yes, Joshua.
Yes, I want to thank the gentleman for coming in the studio to share with us their initiatives so far. There's one particular thing that I thought I wanted some clarification on concerning the way bridges. My understanding of the way bridge is really not to do with any custom-related matters. One, the tracking systems that they do mention, do they also measure the weight of the cargo that is being carried? Because my understanding is that these way bridges are supposed to measure the weight that these trucks that exert on our roads for purposes of controlling damage on the roads are not necessarily custom collection in terms of taxes.
Well, interesting question there. Let's get the answers. That's number one.
I'll start with Joshua. Yes, the way bridges are not to do with the revenue, but as I told you, we have been having challenges of non-tariff barriers along the northern corridor, and the issue of reducing the way bridges was to address that, the turnaround time. The system is not weighing to know the weight of the cargo. Its purpose is to monitor, to locate cargo that it is en route to where it is supposed to go. So the issue of getting waste because of the system, no, that one is controlled by the Ministry of Works under URA. The way bridges, as I said, when you are entering the country, you are weighed once, and this cargo is under customs control. So previously, when it was delayed on the way bridges, it affects our operations because we are supposed to receive these goods, collect taxes on them, then our clients would be able to take them. The longer they took on these way bridges checks, it would affect our turnaround time in serving our clients. The revenue collected in Uganda Revenue Authority, our target for this financial year, we are supposed to collect about 8.2 trillion Uganda shillings, which is about 80% of the total budget, and that is what I can say to the gentleman from Untinda, and we are doing all our best to have this money collected so that Ugandans we can enjoy the services we deserve from government.
Like good roads and street lights.
Yes.
Well, Martin from Bali is asking what happens if the system goes off, how the system communicate. We mentioned that the gadgets we are using have GPS, global positioning system. This is satellite. The satellites are up there in space, and the satellites are not as frequently disturbed as the local networks. Now, we mentioned about SMSs coming to your phones and to your katochi and any simple phone. Yes, when we have the local networks probably getting disconnected, there will be a delay in the SMS coming to your phone, but that does not mean that our servers or the satellite is also off. It's just a delay, and anytime you get connected, like you are moving somewhere, you are traveling, say your goods are moving to Elegu, but yourself you are moving to Fort Portal, and we have your phone in our system, probably in an area where the local networks or your Orange or MTN or Reed is not effective. Yes, the delay to get your SMS will be there, but our guys who are on the system 24/7 are actually based in Nakawa, and they are always monitoring. Now, it is not your work to respond. It is our duty to respond and make sure your cargo is safe. We are only giving you the information to empower you with knowledge so that you are in the know. I hope I'm answering that one.
Yeah, I think you made it quite. Let's talk about smuggling a little bit. Well, how does it help curb smuggling? Or is that way above you? It's not easy to get a can't help there.
The system, as I told you, one of the challenges has been diversion of goods under transit. goods under customs control. The goods are supposed to be moved from through Uganda maybe to DRC, but for one reason or another, the owners of the cargo divert it on the local market without our knowledge. So this system is going to enable us to monitor this cargo. That means we shall be able to know if we are going off course, and we shall be able to intervene with our rescue teams, the rapid response teams, and be able to curb this kind of smuggling in that kind of which has been going on in some cases. But there is smuggling which is on the borders, coming in due to the fluid borders we have, the porous borders around our country. There are other enforcement measures which are in place to cover that. We have teams around the country to cover that, and you, the listeners, the Ugandans, are also there to protect the revenue, because this is your country, this is our country. We also get information from the ordinary people. So that kind of smuggling will be covered that way. But this one, under transit goods through, the system will be able to reduce tremendously that kind of
and briefly on weight bridges, it's not your mandate. You leave that to somebody else, and this gadget won't help a lot on that.
No, the gadget is not for determining weight.
But at the time you seal it, you know the weight. CWT, you know what weight they return.
That is very true.
And they can't change it unless they put charcoal on top.
That is very true. Because the declarations to customs, the goods come with documents, and they are declared into the Askuda World system, which we are using to clear cargo. So on that declaration, you tell us the quantity and the number of packages you have. So we have the weight already declared on the documents, such as the bill of lading, which you used to capture into the system. That one is already known.
And the number of days, you say it's supposed to be between 3 days and 7 days. A man delays, stops somewhere because he's washing his clothes. He takes an extra day. What can you do? He's still within 7 days. What will you do to him?
Yes, that is very true, but the beauty of this is that we are in touch with that person.
And you call him on the phone?
Yes, we do. We do communicate on phone.
Ask him what he's doing
with the driver. Yes.
This is a warning from Kabode Meditates. All the Germans
may not be tolerated, because when we are handling transit goods, there are regulations and procedures are supposed to follow.
We have to go. Thank you very much, Leader. Mr. Asadu, Manager Traffic Management Unit, you are ready to come into the transport. Mr. Dustan, the Customs Officer, also at the coming tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in. Being a first time. Spectrum will be back tomorrow at next week.
You have heard it straight from Kapode Meditates for no nonsense.